talking about how a lot of people may be able to do some homework and realize that they are in a good position to buy a house. Maybe they know that they're going to be in a good position to buy a house. And I imagine that you get a lot of these questions, about, well, should I buy? And some people are really concerned about the real estate market, but oftentimes they maybe are forgetting about their own personal circumstances.
Completely. Yeah, this is strong advice for folks out there who are really struggling with when should I buy? You really want to sit down and make this about your lifestyle, your job, your family, and don't let the media tell you when to rush into a home. I see a lot of people feeling that pressure. Make it personal, sit down, and really, start off with your job. You really got to think about, okay, how secure is my job? If you're in an industry that's stable, that's great. You can go get a mortgage. If you're in an industry that maybe is downsizing or shipping people across the country or jobs overseas.
Feel like a travel agent?
Exactly. A great call on that one. So once you have a feel for, hey, if I have stable income, then at that point, that's a good time to buy, provided that the income you bring home gets you the property you want.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So when you start looking, the job is such a key component because, as we both know, buying a house it's a major financial commitment as well. Are there other big pieces of that job that you would that you recommend people look at?
Something I've been seeing a lot is relocation. I want to talk about that. Now, some folks work for big companies with deep pockets, Microsoft, Boeing, you know the names. And those companies, for their preferred employees, will actually pay for the entire cost to sell the home. And it's a fantastic deal. You're a seller, let's say you're selling a $600,000 home. Normally, you're paying commissions, 6%, excise tax, 1.78%, title and escrow, another 0.5%. At the end of the day, you're looking at, maybe 8.25% right out of your home's equity, or off the sales price. And if your equity is 20%, now all of a sudden you're taking home a little less than 12%. But if you work for Boeing and they're covering your relocation costs, all of a sudden that 20% equity, you get to keep all that. So if you are with a company that has these nice packages, then you should be less concerned about being relocated around the country. If you don't work for a company with those packages, you should be concerned with that.
Mm-hmm. Do you tend to, a lot of people are relocating here. Are there still a lot of people relocating out?
Yeah, actually, I've seen it quite a bit out there. Now, yeah, the majority of the folks are coming in. We do have, I'm so proud to say, the lowest unemployment of the top 50 urban areas in the country. So way to go, Northwesterners. Nice job.
Yay us.
Yay us. Hopefully it lasts.
That's right. Michael Busacca joins me with Skyline Properties. A lot of times the job is such a big part, but that, people are always thinking about schools and maybe their own family life. With the cost of selling, with the fact that most people aren't thinking about a house for 3 to 5 years anymore, people are definitely more in like 8 to 10 or 12-year plans. I imagine that people have to be a lot more forward-thinking in buying a house for maybe their family of more than 2 or 3 years, rather maybe it's 10 years.
Oh, you nailed it. I got to say the number one reason that I get calls from people I've helped buy homes, the number one reason they want to sell is because they've added a child or two children. Now their current home has insufficient square footage or is maybe not in the school district they want. So now that's the driving force in them selling the starter home and getting the second home. So yeah, when you're considering when you want to buy, be really honest with yourself and try to have as much foresight as possible about how will my family grow, when will it grow.
Mm-hmm. And so being able to do that, I guess, are there house size considerations that you put into, that really, I guess that people are thinking about, hey, the opportunity to maybe expand. Maybe it's, if you're buying a condo, certainly you're not going to be adding square footage. But there's a lot of houses out there that maybe would allow for that. Do you see people, thinking in that way?
Yeah, there are a number of folks who say buy your typical Seattle home, 2-bed, 1-bath on the main level, downstairs unfinished basement. So at that point when they've added, and they have a newborn, now they think, okay, this kid will eventually, want their own bedroom, and we need to have a guest bedroom or an office. So people at that point, I help them, contact an architect and get bids for how much that renovation or addition will cost. Then you got to compare with the costs of selling and buying. And after you run all those numbers, at that point you can see, okay, this is path A is worth it or path B.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then typically I see with a first-time purchase, someone will buy a condo or a townhome that has enough space for husband and wife and the guest, but typically there's no room to expand. So now they are shopping for more square footage. They figured, hey, just to get out from under the cost of renting, they went for 1,100 square feet. But now once you have a family, typically you're looking at least 1,700 to 2,000 square feet just for the average family.
Well, it's funny, you talk about the kids taking over the guest room. And that's like, for my house, my wife, literally, she wanted the guest room because it was her one place that was just always clean. And she could just know that every time she walked by, that room was clean. Well, then our daughter was born. Guest room turns into the nursery. We have a 3-bedroom house. There's no guest room. And she's like, I need a guest room. It like gives her anxiety to not have a little clean place that she can call her own.
Yeah, no doubt. People do need their own spaces.
I tell her, you have a closet that is your own, and you could keep that clean.
My wife and I have discussed having just a house, different type of house design where there's, say, one wing for the husband and one wing for the wife. The size of the wings depending on your income, obviously, and then kind of a central gathering area where, that can be a little messy. But if one spouse or the other is the clean one, then they can have their own little haven like what your wife's seeking.
Yeah, if they have enough room, of course. Michael Busacca joins me, broker with Skyline Properties. So, I think that one part that for first-time home buyers, as you were talking about, that's really come back that we didn't see for a while was kind of the rent versus own analysis. It seemed like that analysis went out the window during kind of the depreciating market because it was really more about how much money will I lose if the market keeps going down rather than these monthly, monthly comparisons. Do you see people getting into monthly comparisons on financing again?
They're starting to, and I really encourage it. I mean, it's the number one thing you can do to make a wise financial choice. Sit down. I mean, they have online calculators of rent versus own. Some are a little too simple for my taste. Get one with as many variables as you can plug in as possible because you do want to look at things like appreciation rate, which of course means you have a nice crystal ball that works perfectly.
Sure.
Most of us don't. But you really want to take that into account because if you have to sell sooner than you anticipated, you might be in the red due to the cost of commissions and excise tax.
Mm-hmm.
But if you even have a general appreciation rate of 3-4% a year and you've only owned the home 3 years, you should have enough compounded appreciation to make it worth it.
Well, that, and even looking at tax benefits, looking at rents going up too. I mean, that's something I think that a lot of people maybe they start to take into consideration, but maybe without the full breadth of what rents going up over 2 or 3 or 4 years can really mean at 8 to 10%.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is one of the biggest times I've ever seen where the rents are now so high, the vacancy rates are so low that landlords are just charging astronomical numbers that really make it more cost effective to get a mortgage payment. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have woken up to this at the same time, which is why we're seeing so many multiple offers out there. And people said, "Hey, this landlord wants $1,800 for this dinky 2-bed, 2-bath apartment," when all of a sudden I could have a nice 1,700 square foot home that has a remodeled kitchen, a garage, nice yard. And everyone looks at that, and then they go, "Oh, geez, I get this big write-off for interest paid on a loan on a primary residence. I get to write off my property taxes." When you run all the numbers, yeah, owning is definitely more cost-effective than renting right now.
Yeah, and the appreciation, of course, as you were talking about. Michael Busacca joins me. Michael, we have to go to break in just a minute, but what are some of the biggest questions you're answering right now from home buyers?
Biggest questions are they want me to have that perfect lens into the future and say, hey, is this aggressive appreciation we're seeing in the greater Seattle Bellevue area, is this amount of momentum going to maintain? And I don't think this steep slope of appreciation can keep going at this pace.
No, eventually each house would be worth like $2.5 billion, right?
Exactly. But I really believe the next 3 to 4 years locally, things are going to continue to be really strong. I mean, Amazon and these companies wouldn't be hiring at this pace if they believed otherwise. Mm-hmm. So I look at the big boys and girls and figure out what they're going for.
Yeah, again, it's those fundamentals that continue to be better than we ever have seen because of the job growth, because you have to qualify for a loan using your actual income. You have to have a down payment on a lot of these big houses. It makes a big change.
Yep. And quick note, a little side note. I've talked in past shows about properly renovating a classic home. I've got a listing coming on at Ballard at 7059 Alonzo Avenue Northwest. And this is a classic 1925 home with all the original trim that's been remodeled with respect to all the original architectural detailing. So if you're out in Ballard this weekend, it'll be open Saturday and Sunday. If you want to see a proper remodel, it's not a flip, professional job, all permits pulled, electrical, plumbing. If you want to see it done right, that's where to go.
That's interesting. And so, and out in Ballard, and Ballard's a hot area.
Oh, super hot. And this one's in the Whittier Elementary School District, which is one of the tops. And you really see all of a sudden a home that doesn't look as nice is in the right elementary school district, and that home has 4 offers, and the home in the wrong school district has 2, even though it's nicer.